Hey, Dave here from DC On Screen. If you're following us on Facebook, you might have seen us posting artwork that has been sent to fans. This was sent to fans of DC On Screen as part of a promotion. How can you get your own artwork? Simply go over to iTunes or Stitcher and leave us good ratings or reviews. Or, bad ones if you just gotta be a dick. And then email us at dconscreen@gmail.com. Tell us who you want us to draw, who you want to draw it, Dave or Jason, and leave us an address. If you like, you can send us pictures of yourself with the drawing after we send it, and we'll post it to our Facebook page where you can tag yourself. This promotion ends March 31st, by the way, so you have to get those reviews in. Jason, do you have anything else to add?
It's a little for a lot, Dave. It's a little for a lot.
It is a little for a lot. We try so hard.
We need your help. We're asking. Our humble offering.
Humble, like pie. Anyway, man, settle back, listen to a brand new episode of DC On Screen starting right the hell now. Welcome in to DC On Screen. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason.
Hello.
And this is the 130th episode of DC On Screen.
Oh, I like round numbers.
Round numbers. Today we're talking about Legends of Tomorrow, 108, Night of the Hawk. So, yeah,
We had a role reversal thing going on between me and you last week, so,
yeah.
Like, I didn't dig the episode and you did, and, I unfortunately have to report that I didn't like this one any better. They've been on a slump for a couple weeks for me.
I didn't like it. I liked a couple of things, like they mentioned Enchantment Under the Sea Dance. Ha 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 ha, yay.
I always love a good Nurse Ratched reference, sure.
And, I liked the Nth Metal Meteorite, okay.
That made me very happy. And I'll say this up front. What I mean to say by I didn't enjoy it as much is they didn't accomplish as much on this episode. We didn't get anywhere. At least not anywhere fast enough. We did a bunch of stuff that was kind of medley. Mm-hmm. Didn't advance my story at all. It advanced a couple of the side things, but honest to God, the greatest thing about this episode is, and I hate it, I feel so fucking redundant because I feel like we say this every week, but Snart. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, I care more about his emotional progression post Mick than I do the rest of humanity. I you can keep Star City 2046 for all I fucking care. I want to see how this cat deals.
Yeah, I want to know what happened. Like at one point, someone says, or no, I think maybe even Cold says in reference to Mick, and we all know how that turned out. And I'm like, no, we don't.
I think it was Jax because Jax was giving him some real shit the whole episode.
Yeah. But I'm like,
Which
no, we don't.
I dug that because it finally gave Jax something absolutely pointful to do.
Yeah, but like I said, though, we don't know. We didn't see what exactly happened.
Man, I ain't seen a body.
I
do. I kind of think he froze him in that time and stashed him, and I think he's going to steal the Wave Rider and go back for his friend.
Maybe.
That's my goal right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. I really loved American Rip.
That was really entertaining. He has a decent accent too.
Yeah, like he and Snart go in pretending to be federal agents. That was cool. Mm-hmm. Enjoyed that.
Hey, Snart can be threatening with a pencil, for God's sake.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is my favorite. I've seen Vandal Savage. Just this one scene where he's got the hawk the hawk creature screeches at him, and he calls back at it. He goes, "Rah!" I think
you like the shriek off?
Yeah, it was so weird. It was just like it looked like he was enjoying himself so much, like this thing shrieking at him. He's just like, like, yeah.
No, that is absolutely something I would do.
Like, did you guys just realize
Absolutely.
how weird Casper Crump is in this role and just decide to lean the hell into it?
Because, by the way, if that's what happened, fuck yes. Let him off the chain, man.
Yeah, let him just get weird with it.
He doesn't just have to snarl at people the whole time. Let him get weird with it, yeah.
Oh, funny thing. I know you don't know this, but funny thing I noticed about Vandal's character in this episode. He was masquerading as a doctor named Curtis Knox, and Dean Cain played an immortal doctor named Curtis Knox on Smallville. And they wanted him to be Vandal Savage, but the studio wouldn't let him be Vandal Savage.
They wanted Dean Cain for Vandal Savage?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, looking back, I would have been on board with more than Casper Crump.
It wouldn't have been too bad. I haven't minded Casper Crump nearly as much as you have, though.
Yeah.
Just at all, nearly as much. I get what you're saying, but I like his demeanor for the most part. I think it was just purely a matter of do you like peanut butter or chocolate kind of thing. I've kind of dug that snarl, and you kind of haven't. I don't know if there's anything more to it.
Yeah, I don't know. By the way, I think it's time to change Ray's costume.
Really?
I kind of want to see it more like the comic books. I want to see I think the thing I hate the most is that big shield over his face.
Well, it comes in handy when he needs to go underwater or go in space or something.
I don't know. They could have
what the character can
do. But yeah.
I wouldn't want him to sacrifice any of the functionality that he currently has. He'd just have to kind of streamline everything down.
Well, I mean, at this point, they could I would say they could streamline it and have a lot of features built into the suit that you can't see that just kind of pop out or whatever.
Yeah.
I like the idea that they have the practical effects going on, little things turning and
those
stuff.
Those little servos
cool.
are fantastic. Yeah.
I agree with that, but
I like that they seem to have them set on a slightly randomized timer.
Mm-hmm.
Each one of them, and from the Fat Man on Batman interview with Brandon Routh, this is where I picked this little piece of knowledge up. But yeah, those there's a button on the side of his suit that he hits, and those things are live action mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
They don't add those in post or anything. So those are just actual things turning on his side, and I've been watching him ever since that, trying to pick out a timing to it, and I can't find a timing to it. They did a good job with that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's not a real sticking point for me or anything. It was just something I kind of noticed. Dude, we've had everyone has gotten costume upgrades every year except for Ray. Ray's suit pretty much looks exactly like it did when he first started being the Atom.
Well, it's only been within this season though that he's had the costume at all. I mean, he had it at the end of season 3, but I feel like the functionality. Let me put it this way: the look of it, I agree. Between the end of season 3 of Arrow and the season 4 Arrow / LOT progression, yeah, it looks the same. But they added the actual shrinking part during season 4, so I think I'm going to be happy with just that modification until season 5 of Arrow / season 2 of Legends, which are both, again, if you didn't hear us on a previous podcast, both happening.
Yep, they have been renewed. Yeah, don't
forget the Flash; it's coming along too.
Yeah, I'm not trying to give it too much shit. I'm just, as far as that's concerned, I'm just, I would like it to look a little more like the comic book version. I kind of want to see Ray's face a little better most of the time.
I could see that. And he's clever enough. He could streamline it if he wanted to.
Yeah. I love that Ray was so in love with Vandal Savage's casserole. I can't believe you're eating that. Say what you want. He makes one hell of a casserole. They put out a meme of I think it was actually the studio put out a picture of Vandal holding that casserole dish.
Uh-huh.
And it said, "You may be a time master, but I am master of the casserole."
Oh, and even what he called it a tuna surprise. It's kind of one of those. It's one of those things that if I tried to serve you a tuna surprise in 2016, you would maybe just throw up on my hands. But dude, that was a real recipe. Not necessarily a real recipe, but that's how things used to be named in the 50s. It was. If you flip through a 50s cookbook, you find a bunch of shit like that, like gelatin surprise. By the way, there's a lot of gelatin in 50s cooking. Go look that shit up. It's weird. They were all kinds of happy about Jell-O.
Mm-hmm. So, the hot killers. Why do you think there were hot killers? Just
the zombie gargoyles?
Yeah. Do you think it'll have a tie-in with Hawkworld or anything?
Nah, I doubt it.
I just
doubt it.
I just think it's weird that all he does is inject the shit directly from the rock into a person and they become Hawk people.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know, man. Nth metal meteorite. I can't fucking... And he says, though, this, I was exposed to it and it made me immortal. Other people get exposed to it, turns them into a zombie gargoyle. And my notes, I wrote down, zombie gargoyles? And then right next to it I wrote, ow, Hawk bastards. Gotcha. I thought about it for a second. No, wait, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what those guys are. Gotcha.
No. I'm gonna need there to be an actual explanation, and that shit better be Thanagar.
I have the distinct fear that flock of creatures might be the closest you get to Thanagar. And the mention of nth metal.
That makes no sense. Like, nothing about this makes any sense. That, like, it's just...
Oh, I mean, trust me, I'd love them to trace down the meteorites and find themselves in Thanagar.
Yes.
It'd make me very happy. But it's one of those things where you in the world of comic books, it's enough to just say, it affected my physiology this way, it affected your physiology this way. I don't know, giant alien crater.
But that's so dumb.
It qualifies as good enough for your average.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
it'll hang in there. Trust me, I'd like a little bit more, but I don't need to get into because you can also just pull in like genetics.
Yeah, but
and make up some terms and
like what if these meteorites were like what if they were created during the like the big Ron Thanagarian War or something, And
fantastic.
They were created as biological weapons against, the Thanagarians created it so like it would turn their opponents into hawk creatures who would like, I don't know, become cannibalistic and attack themselves.
That would be good.
I mean, we're getting a season 2. Let's jump around the galaxy a bit, guys. Come on.
Or just, one of the planets didn't make it. Like Thanagar finally just gets destroyed, physically destroyed, and the Flotsam and Jetsam makes its way across space, and part of the exploded planet has landed on Earth and made a Vandal Savage and a Hawk Girl.
See, I would love to see this. I would love to see the Space Cop version of this. Like, let's do all the versions of Hawkman and Hawk Girl.
See, that's where I would like, if we're not going to get Hawkman and Hawk Girl next season, which they're still talking about whether they want to change up the cast, kind of like do a reshuffle every year. Mm-hmm. So if we're not going to get the Hawks back, that's where I would love them to retire, is let's go chase down Thanagar, and they realize that their spiritual home, their spiritually ancestrous home, I guess, like the thing they're connected to is in dire need of a few good people. So that's where they, like, for me, that'd be okay for them to be in, like, Thanagar all of season 2, and I know they're out there being space cops.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
They go visit them mid-season, have a little Thanagar Ranian War episode, Yes. Yes, please, by the way. I've gone from approving of that idea to pleading for it. Yes, let's do that.
Mm-hmm. So you and I had some real issues with this, mostly dealing with them being in 1958. Mm-hmm. I think we went up on opposite sides of the same problem, though. Like,
sounds right.
You kind of felt like they shouldn't have even messed with any of the bigotry or anything. They should just move on and not do 1958. Essentially, is that correct?
Kind of, yeah. Because for me, it's a straw man argument. Because we're in 2016, we all know that racism, homophobia, sexism, they're bad. We're aware of this. Like it's just it's common knowledge now. We're not like, yeah, you got to fight for the fine points of it, but the base idea is kind of accepted. Don't get me wrong. I know there's like a few million people that aren't on board with that, but for those guys, the majority of us, the overwhelming majority, are aware that these are bad things. So yeah. You're just bringing up something that you're not accomplishing anything. You brought up this poor closeted girl in the 50s. Well, as Stein points out, you didn't really help her that much,
right?
Which that's up to her. Like someone kind of opened the door for her, and if she wants to go through it and brave her way through this town in the 50s being a lesbian, God, it's going to take some heart and good luck. But no one's on the other side of this issue is my point. They didn't accomplish anything. They just kind of wasted my time in a series called Legends of Tomorrow. I want to do 2046 shit. I want to go to, I want to see the Legion. There's all this stuff I want to do that doesn't involve wasting any of my time on stuff that I'm already on board with.
I think my argument is that they've gone, okay, yeah, they're from the future, but it's a future so far removed that yeah, they should be, most of them, not Stein, but most of them should be a little shocked by it.
Well, yeah, Stein's been daydreaming about this kind of futuristic technology, like he's been living there mentally for so long, and Ray too. are such futurists that they're not going to be completely like gobsmacked by anything. They're going to think, I knew that was possible. Most of the stuff they see.
Well, no, I'm talking about like the racism and bigotry of 1958. Oh, okay. They shouldn't, but like most of these characters are young enough or are from a future so far removed from 1958 that they should be like, it was this bad, except it's really not that bad as depicted in this episode, because they kind of, I kind of feel like, and here's the thing, like the showrunners were talking about like, oh yeah, we're going to go to 1958 and we're going to explore bigotry and all the terrible things that people had to do. Okay, so that's what they were gunning for, and they completely failed. I can think of a Quantum Leap episode, 2 Quantum Leap episodes, that just, like, hurt to watch. Like,
I know the one you're talking about.
Well, I mean, there are a couple of them. There's one where Sam gets thrown into the body of a black man in the 50s and goes to sit down at a bar, much as Jax does in this episode.
That's the one I remember. Oh, by the way, heads up, or shout out to Jax here for mentioning Biff.
Right.
It made me like Jax a lot more. He got some points for that.
Yeah. I think he also talked about the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Or no, someone mentioned it to him.
I can't remember either.
But, yeah. So, I don't know. Like, I feel like these guys, these people, these legends, we're going to call them, the team, they're idiots. They keep making terrible decisions, and it's been made clear to them over and over again. Stick to what we planned out. Now, this time, and I don't know why, but Rip is an idiot. This time, like, it's 1958. How about you not throw Kendra and Ray together just because those characters are kind of dating in the show right now?
Right.
How about we not throw them together as a married couple in 1958? That doesn't make sense. How about we not send Jax out?
Trouble.
How about we not send Jax out in 1958? Yeah, don't send Jax out alone in 1958 to go talk to some random white girl who's waiting for her boyfriend to come back.
Right. Like, that's not, I mean, a little bit of foresight here. Just a wee bit of foresight.
And if they're going to have their characters be so naive, I think those guys, those white dudes who were pissed off at him talking to her, should have dragged him out and beaten him or something. Like, let's show the consequences. Like, and send him to a black hospital, because guess what? That's what they would have happened.
Right. Damn segregated hospital or some shit.
Yeah, there are segregated hospitals. Let's actually do that. If you guys are gonna like jump into this, and yeah, which they're still in 1958 next week, so maybe they'll jump a little deeper into this. I did kind of get those feelings of like, anger stirring in me, and like, oh no, stirring in me when that cop pulled Jax over.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, you want Jax to just drag his ass in the woods and beat him, because that's just kind of what you want to happen to bigots, because that's where we are.
Then again, if I was a cop,
or anyone who pulls over a black guy and says, "Boy," just fuck that guy. God damn it.
But if I was a cop of any race and I saw anybody with a girl who had blood pouring out of her neck, I'd probably beat him over the head with a billy club too.
If I approach a situation, and like if you've got somebody in your passenger seat that's bleeding and you were driving in the direction of a hospital, because by the way, this is his town, he should know if you're driving to or fro like an emergency medical help, right? Mm-hmm. If I see a bleeding passenger, you get out of the car and tell me that you've got a bleeding passenger and you're driving in the direction of a hospital. The correct thing to do is to tell you to get back into your car, drive in front of you, and turn your lights on. Mm-hmm. That's that's the rational approach to that.
Absolutely.
To finding that, like, yes,
but this is a cop who's in league with Vandal Savage, so he has no rational approach. He's seen hawk creatures and goes, okay, right.
He's looking at him going, "You gonna make a fine hawk creature, boy." Yeah, come on.
I felt like the show should have been a little more brutal with what they were going for. Also, one thing that's really interesting and odd to me, and I understand why they're doing it, but they got backlash at some point. Sarah is not a straight up lesbian. She's bi.
Yeah, that's been established.
Yeah, but I don't know why, but it became like a backlash situation when she kind of comes back and we're like, oh, we knew she was with Nyssa, but now she's boning Oliver again. It became like, oh, you changed her back. Like, it became like a big deal for some reason with a bunch of the fans.
Yeah.
So now it's like in this series, they have almost completely ignored any hint that she ever liked dudes. Like, she'll just kick some dudes' asses and be like, I don't like you, but maybe your lady over there, who, by the way, looks just as skeezy as the dude that she's, like, turning down.
I don't know. That dude looked real skeezy. And that makes for a fine joke. I mean...
Yeah, sure.
It's just not, you know...
I don't know. It's just, you know... I'm wondering if they'll ever get back around to Sarah being bisexual. Or if they're just
it hasn't been useful to mention it, I think, is what it amounted to.
Maybe.
It's been more useful as a device to have her be just in a relationship with a girl at any time. Or at least flirting with girls.
Yeah. I've just been curious as to whether or not... Because I know there was a big backlash. I was just curious as to whether or not they were actually going to just be like, well, we just won't mention that again. Now, here's the other part, though. I kept waiting for her to go back to the Wave Rider and being like, does that nurse have any effect on the future? Does she ever have a family? Does she ever do anything that matters? Mm-hmm. And when they say no, her being like, let me show you this place.
It's like, is she relevant to the timeline? Not really. Can she come with me? I want to take her with me. Because
just like when Oliver kissed Felicity before breaking up with her,
mm-hmm.
Dude, Sarah, you kissed this girl and you're like, maybe I'll see you again someday. Dick move.
It absolutely is. I mean, it's fine if you know the context. If both of you are being flippant about the fact that you're never going to see each other again, and you're like, oh, mm-hmm. maybe just if it's just lip service and you both know it, that's one thing. But if you just come into this girl's life, showed her an entirely different version of how she could live her life, and let's face it, gotten yourself a little bit infatuated with her, and vice versa. Yeah, absolute dick move.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how long is that woman going to sit around waiting to see if Sarah comes back? Hopefully not long. You know, give it a couple of weeks to kind of get over the, I don't know, the fun little first romantic feelings, and then hopefully go back. Hopefully go back to her life, but, you know, with a little bit more courage to do what she really wants to do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, I don't know. But what killed me is that it didn't even occur to Sarah. Like, she was just like, nah, leave your ass in 1958. I'm good.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Well, they did give her the out, though, that, you know, since she's come back, it's they get her to describe how emotions have been affecting her since she's been, you know, newly undead. And they kind of make it sound like it's a little bit like having all these emotions for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, you know, we all remember being like 13 and 14. Shit was weird, right? I don't know what age exactly you realized shit was weird, but at some point you can get to a point.
I think I always
where you start having, you know, kind of emotions that you can't account for, and you don't have the perspective to put them in a useful place. And I felt like that was what they were trying to say she's dealing with right now.
I think I always felt like shit was weird.
Yeah.
I don't remember a time when shit wasn't weird in some capacity where I was just like,
oh no, everything's normal.
And
good.
You know me, and you know this is true. I mean, you don't know, but knowing me, you should know is true. I met every weird feeling or every bit of that with that's a thing.
Oh, I'm gonna have to deal with this kind of crap now.
You know, I was perfectly okay just watching Transformers. I don't understand.
Right. First time you ever got jealous, you're like, oh my god. I was hoping I was going to be one of the people that wasn't a jealous guy. Shit.
Yeah. Like, you know, I was perfectly happy wondering why, you know, the real Ghostbusters and the Ghostbusters never teamed up.
Right.
I was perfectly happy and not understanding why the GoBots and the Transformers never teamed up. Basically, I've been this guy, the guy that I am, that you guys are listening to. I've been him since I was about 3 or 4. Like
much of the original draft remains unchanged.
I actively remember wondering when the Thundercats and the Silverhawks would team up.
Right.
They never did. But I knew the animation was similar, and it was probably the same company.
Right. It's a little unfulfilled hole in your childhood.
Yep.
Oh,
come on, Rankin Bass, make it happen. Come on, Warner Brothers. I know you own it.
Oh, did you like? I enjoyed Sarah's little threats to Snart like 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
I like that gag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Oh, they said something later in the episode where Snart, at some point, Snart says, like, he was right about something. And I just remember thinking, you know what? He's right. He's always fucking right. The show has never shown him to be wrong about anything. If Snart says something, listen to it, period.
I think it was, I think it had to do with Jax running around in 1958 alone.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, I did love the Sarah line. I was liberating her with an option to seduce her later.
Right.
I did laugh.
Right.
That may be the most I've liked Sarah ever.
That's true. Oh, I just liked the, she pulls out her little, I'm sure there's a name for that stick. I don't know it, though. Bow stick, maybe? But,
yeah, bow staff, maybe?
Bow staff, maybe. But yeah, she pulls that out and just whacks this creature and kind of turns to her nurse friends like, I'll explain later.
And by that, I mean I won't, and I'll leave and never come back.
Right. But the girl picks up on it quick, like, well, didn't know I was dating a ninja, or didn't know I was having romantic feelings for a ninja. Okay.
Right.
It's out there Bruce Lee in this shit, yeah. And I had one thought with, you remember when, all right, so Jax gets pulled over, though, and he tells the cop what's going on, and then he turns to walk back to his car, and there's that moment where I was like, no, Jax, you can't turn your back on a racist. This is going to end poorly.
Yep.
Like it always, every time I see someone do that scene, I always remember the like the Fear and Loathing line. You know, you can, what is it? Like you can turn your back on a man, but you can never turn your back on a drug.
Yeah. Yep.
One of my favorite lines. And it's also irrefutably true. Mm-hmm. That was good advice. Hey, when they were doing the when Ray and Kendra were doing that little heist, I'll call it, for so he could sneak in. She's got the binoculars over there, and it was like, I can't remember the name of that Jimmy Stewart movie. Was it just called The Neighbor, I want to say, or something?
Gosh, what was that movie called?
I couldn't remember the name of it, but it kept reminding me of it.
Let me see. I know I'm gonna hate looking it up, but I have to. I don't know.
Right. I was hoping you'd just know because it was bothering me too, and I hadn't gotten to look it up yet.
Rear Window?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Sounds right. But did that one?
Yeah.
Was it just me? Or?
Nah, it was just you.
I'm alone.
You're alone in the universe.
We all knew
forever
that.
And always.
I knew that to be indelibly true because Snart told me that.
Everything dies alone.
Who was it that said that? I think it was Karl Marx that like had a really nice nurse while he was on his deathbed. I want to say it was Marx. He was on his deathbed and he had this really sweet nurse that was like trying to do a good job with him, but he was an ornery old fuck at this point.
Uh-huh.
I say at this point as though he wasn't always an ornery young / middle-aged then old fuck. But he said something about everyone dies alone and said it's so mean that she actually finally gave up on him and left, and then a few minutes later he died. It's like he was waiting to be alone to prove himself right and had to be mean to this poor hospice nurse to get her out of the fucking room so he could be right about it. Of course, it was Karl Marx, so he just wanted to be right about one goddamn thing before he died.
Mm-hmm.
That whole communism thing didn't play out like he was hoping.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to check and see, because here's the sad thing. I had to look up the name of that movie, The Rear Window.
Uh-huh.
But I was pretty sure I remembered the name of the Simpsons episode that parodied it.
Oh, I remember the name of the Home Movies episode that parodied it.
Well, the Simpsons episode was Bart of Darkness.
Bart of Darkness.
And like Bart like breaks his leg, and he gets the telescope. He's like looking around. He thinks Ned Flanders has killed his wife. He becomes convinced of that. But before he sees Ned, he looks over and he sees Jimmy Stewart staring back at him, and he goes, "Hey, there's a sinister-looking kid look across the street."
That was good.
But yeah, I'm somewhat saddened that I know the Simpsons parody of it, but I couldn't remember the name of the actual movie.
I mean, Home Movies, it was an episode called Definite Possible Murder. Lots of in-show references to the Rear Window concept, like they straight up did a parody. It was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Like much of that show.
Yeah, Home Movies was, well,
pretty solid.
It was the shit.
Pretty damn solid. If you have to look up any one thing, there's a rant in Curses by Coach McGurk, played by H. John Benjamin, where he's saying like he's cussing a lot, and Brendan kind of asked him about it. And he's like, no, like cussing for me is like it's like the everyday man's poetry, like Robert Frost, like walking through the fucking woods. That's my. This is how I express myself, Brendan.
For me, like to get to introduce home movies to anybody, I always just YouTube Coach McGurk's sleep deprivation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like, damn it, Melissa, I haven't slept in 3 days. Did you try laying down? No,
I didn't try that.
Of course I didn't try laying down and closing my eyes. You mean to tell me that all I have to do to go to sleep is lay down and close my eyes? All I have to do to go to sleep is go to sleep? That's your advice? I was just trying to help. Oh, Melissa, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just that I haven't slept in 3 days.
You just said that. I'm starting to forget things.
He's like, Brendan, I haven't slept in 4 days. I might conceivably just... Coach? What?
Coach, I felt like you were just trying to say something there. And... That was wonderful.
Sorry, Brendan. I haven't slept in 4 days. Anyway.
A lovely little pitch for home movies here at the end of the Legends of Tomorrow episode.
Right.
Oh, Kronos is back, though. Kind of. And I guess he has control of the Wave Rider now?
I guess. Whatever.
Oh, I had
Every time I see that guy, I'm just like, and we are VR. It's just VR troopers. It just looks like VR troopers to me.
All right. All right. I mean, I like the... they finally left somebody behind, so we'll have to do an episode about that. So that'll be neat. Kronos taking over the ship. Okay, maybe that's cool. Because he hadn't been able to do much so far. I'd like to actually get under his mask and, meet him, actually do something with him other than just be a thing that, harasses them at the end of an episode.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that bugs me about Kronos. And another thing that bugs me about him is that every time we see him, they do like that shaky cam. They're like, we don't want you to see how bad this costume looks. We don't want you to see how bad this costume looks.
Yeah, it has room for improvement. Oh, I had a question, a logistics question.
Sure. Okay. I'm probably the wrong person to ask, but sure.
This is why I'm curious. All right. So Vandal Savage, this is another reincarnation question. Vandal Savage in the 50s as Curtis Knox presumably has either already or intends to kill the Hawks, right?
Yeah.
Because he always does it. That's just part of his thing. He's on life number probably 212 or something like around that area.
Well, he's just immortal. He doesn't have all these lives. He's just immortal.
No. He just has the one life. Well, I mean, I guess I don't know what dying for him is like. I mean, I guess he just wakes up a few hours later. But he retains everything. He's an immortal presence. That's fine. But he only gets to remain immortal if he kills the Hawks every time. Mm-hmm. That's how they've established it in the show. So if he kills a time traveling Hawk, what happens during the course of that lifetime? Does he get to bank one? Is it like a credit system? He gets an extra point. And later, when he gets to a lifetime where they're not there, because when he gets to 2016, there won't be a Hawk Girl to kill if she dies in a previous time. So is he suddenly going to be mortal, or is his little immortality meter going to be like, nope, we got you back. I remember you did that in the 50s. It's okay.
Yeah, I think probably the second one. Yeah,
you think the second one?
That's probably the case. Yeah.
He just doesn't have to kill a Hawk, or he only has to kill one Hawk during the 2016 timeline?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if they keep reincarnating, I mean, over the course of his main lifetime, I mean, he would only start to age a little bit. And then there's a baby, and it's a Hawk. Kill it.
I mean, he seems to stay relatively unaged. I gather that even if he didn't manage to kill the Hawks, that it would take him still a good little while to die.
I don't even think he looks for him, honestly.
Oh, he's always looking for him
to show up.
No, he's always looking for him. He says he's always looking for him when we meet him. He says he's searched for them in every lifetime and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I guess he did.
He's definitely on the hunt. I wonder if it's something he has to do. Like every 20 years or so, he's like, I killed those Hawks. Let's see, I killed those Hawks about 10 years ago, so they should be 10-year-olds now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's time I go searching for some Hawks. And then hunts them down, and then maybe he finds them when they're 15 or 16 and kills a couple 15-year-old Hawklets.
Yeah.
And then kind of, I guess at that point he can just sort of screw around for a few more years until they get to an age where he can go find them and kill them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. See, he's not trying to kill Kendra, though, because he's in love with her.
Oh, no, he definitely tries to kill her.
He keeps trying to get her to, be with him.
Well, he does. Apparently, the way they describe it, every lifetime he tries, every lifetime she turns him down, and every lifetime he, rage kills her.
Uh-huh.
which seems hard to do because she, especially when they let her have her close-up scenes, she's actually pretty hard to kill. She's not an easy chick can fight.
This makes me wonder why he's not hanging out, in the in the baby section over at the hospital, whatever it's called, where he's where he's just looking at a kid like a newborn baby in a little crib, then going, my beautiful Shiara.
Right.
Snap.
They just let him in there. He could kill him now.
He goes over across town. Carter. Snap.
Saw a headline: Bird, Monsters, and Bigotry in Legends of Tomorrow, Episode 8. All right, then.
But not enough bigotry to be realistic.
Right. Just enough to waste your time with some straw men.
Nothing to make us reflect. That's why I think it should have been, to prove how stupid they are. Oh yeah, you can't just do this shit. You can't just run around in the 50s and expect nothing to happen to you.
Well, if you look at the next episode is Left Behind, which by the way we're going to be on a 2-week break from Legends of Tomorrow. It looks like.
Are they not coming back this coming up week?
No, it's the 31st is the next episode.
Ooh,
so
okay.
Was that 14, 21, 28, or 17? Yeah, we're on a 2-week break. It's called Left Behind though, and the only episode, the description I can find for it so far is Ray and Kendra bond as a couple, and Sarah decides to return to the League of Assassins, and Ray shall go. So we'll get our Rage back. It looks like.
Wow, that is not what I wanted to hear. None of that is what I wanted to hear for this coming up episode.
I know, but it does look like they're gonna let time pass, which that sounds like a good thing. Because it's gonna they're gonna be left there for a few weeks, so we're gonna be in the real world. We're left here for a few weeks, and they will be too, and that'll be okay. But yeah, they're gonna come back after a few weeks where they've already had. Ray and Kendra kissed at the end of the episode, so they'll have a few weeks to explore their relationship in this shitty fucking town, and then I guess Sarah just decides she's bored with the whole thing.
Yeah.
But you know what she's not gonna do is go back and kiss that nurse again, because that'd be way too much to ask.
Yeah. What I want from the synopsis is Ray befriends a man named Gene and tells him about a sci-fi show that he winds up creating.
Right. Yeah. Ray runs into a young George Lucas.
Yeah, they could do that. Ray, Gene sees Ray's new friend Gene sees that the multi-ethnic blah blah blah. With Ray and his wife Kendra, they decide to make a multi-ethnic show about space travelers or something.
Right.
They could do that. Come
Kendra
on.
decides
you don't even
to
have
take
to
up
say Star Trek.
Kendra decides to take up acting and loses the role Cleopatra to a young Elizabeth Taylor.
That'd be a fine thing.
Because she, quote, doesn't look Egyptian enough.
Right.
I just guess Sarah just gets bored with not having anybody to, punch, I guess, and decides to go back to the League because, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's from Arrow, where character regression is pervasive, so. Can't beat your roots, right?
I guess not. We got to get this show on the road. We'll be back on Monday, I reckon, with a news episode. We'll probably post that on Tuesday. But, yeah. We are DC On Screen. You can find every episode at dconscreen.com. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher. We are part of the Giant Size Team Up Network, giantsizeteamup.com. Go check out our buddies Matt, Carol, and Jeff Randall at the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. Until next until next time, guys.
You can do this, Dave.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try again. I'm going to try so hard. Okay, hold on.
I believe in you.
Until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.